Well, for his take on the issue, I spoke with the Housing Minister, Bruce Flegg, a short time ago. Dr Flegg, Gladstone's not alone in its housing affordability problems. What is the government's plan of attack to address the issue? Or are you happy to see a situation where only high-income earners can afford to live in mining towns?
No, we're deeply concerned about the affordability and availability of houses in not just mining towns, but places like Gladstone, which are really infrastructure and industrial towns. There's two aspects that need to be kept very clearly in mind. Part of the problem here is housing affordability. People are earning reasonable incomes and have full-time work, but the market has run away from them. We need an approach that releases more land, that allows more property to be built and alters that supply-demand equation. But the other side, and a side that I'm very, very concerned about, is, as Liz Cunningham raised, is that people who are on low incomes, who are maybe just part-time workers or have a disability or are elderly, run the risk of being forced out of these communities because they will never be able to participate in that sort of rental market.
So what can you do about that?
For those people, we need to increase the supply of appropriate social housing, and Liz has correctly identified that. There are around 1,000 public and social houses currently in the Gladstone area. The waiting list is only about 300, and I say only because in many parts of the state the ratio is a lot higher than that. But clearly there are much fewer options in the private rental market. So we're looking at a very serious problem in public housing in this state, where the previous government for the first time in history virtually has allowed the cost of maintenance and administration to outstrip rental receipts. And in next year's forward estimates, the previous government did not have a cent for any new construction.
So does that mean there isn't going to be any new construction if there is no money?
No, we are certainly not giving up on this challenge. What we need to do in the first instance is to ensure that we build appropriate housing. Most of the people requiring social housing are single people or small families, whereas most of our stock is old three-bedroom homes. We have around 31,000 families waiting for social housing in Queensland, but we have 13,000 properties with 3 or more bedrooms that only have a single occupant. So in essence we have maybe 25,000 empty bedrooms because the properties have not been kept to the type that we need.
Back in the mining towns though, the LNP has promised royalties for the Regions program. Could some of those mining royalties be returned to mining communities in the form of some more public housing, affordable housing?
I think that that's something that we're going to look at. Certainly in Gladstone, the newly formed Gladstone Housing Company has begun an affordable housing project there. They have received some money from LNG companies to support that. That model, particularly seeing you are dealing with full-time workers, that's the model that we would like to see expanded, and certainly there is a need for a lot more affordable housing there.
How much is this on your radar though? I mean, when people are sleeping in their cars and on friends' couches, it's getting pretty drastic, isn't it?
It's well and truly on our radar, and even though we've only been in office a short time, I've already met with the housing organisations that deal with Gladstone. We've already studied the situation there and a number of other property hotspots that rentals have become unaffordable for average people. It's well and truly on our radar. We've inherited a very difficult situation financially, but that's a challenge that we are going to overcome.
Liz Cunningham called for a massive investment in social housing. Can you give me a dollar figure that the LNP government's going to put on the table to address this issue?
It wouldn't be possible at this stage, not even having completed our first budget, to allocate an allocation into the Gladstone area. We do know there are around 1,000 social houses, and there's quite likely capacity to increase the utilisation of what we already have. There's around 300 families with applications in that area, and obviously we know that the need for affordable housing is additional on top of that.
Dr Flegg, appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.